Aztecs fans received some good news this morning. Brady Hoke is retiring, and I say good news, not anything personally towards Brady Hoke, but I just think that a lot of the fan base is happy that Brady Hoke is going to be stepping away because they need things to go in the right direction here. Like things need to change, and maybe things will change with someone else new coming in here and being the head coach. Brady Hoke announced retiring. He went on San Diego Sports 760, talked with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch there, had some statements, released those via San Diego State. And I'm reading off of ESPN's website. And Brady Hoke said, "I am proud of what we accomplished at San Diego State. Brady Hoke, by the way, he turned 65 on November 3rd, so it's not like he's 80. If he wanted to continue coaching, he probably could somewhere. But let's remember, his salary is, I think, a little less than $2 million. His buyout is nearly $5 million. This is not Texas A&M where they can give Jimbo Fisher a 70+ million dollar buyout. Like that was nuts when I saw that over the weekend. But that's just how it is. San Diego State, it's not that. So this, I think, is San Diego State asking Brady Hoke, "Hey, can you do us a solid here? We gave you this opportunity. Things aren't going in the right direction. I don't know if they said this, but I would probably say, hey, we'll allow you to help out the football team. We'll allow you to advise the next coach. We'll allow you to talk to these athletes and help the program still. But we want to go in a different direction, and we can't afford this buyout right now. So we want to go in a different direction." And maybe Brady's like, "Well, I don't want to keep coaching somewhere where they don't want me. I wouldn't want to keep coaching somewhere where I'm not wanted." But the buyout though is pretty appealing, right? Like if I was Brady Hoke, I'd probably say, "Fire me and then give me the buyout." Like I'm not going to sit here and retire because I've got almost $5 million that I could get if you buy me out. So maybe there's a middle ground here and San Diego State gives him a couple $1,000,000 in a buyout instead of the nearly $5 million. I don't know. Maybe Brady Hoke actually wants to retire. They're obviously going to play it off like Brady Hoke actually wants to retire and he wants to go spend more time with his family. I'm not saying that that's a lie. Like I'm sure he wants that more family time. But for someone that has been involved in football for so long, he played, he has coached for a long time, for him to just want to retire at 65, who's about to turn 65, I just don't know how much I want to believe that. But things just weren't going in the right direction. Disappointing season last year, and that has been followed up by an even worse season. Last place in the Mountain West, 3-7 record. I think they have one win in conference, getting shut out by Nevada, scoring 0 points in the first half this past weekend against Colorado State. Like things need to turn around. And Brady Hoke, he did have that really good season, 12-win season, and I think Aztecs fans are grateful for him for that. But I think some Brady Hoke haters would say, well, how much of that team was Brady Hoke recruiting? Or how much was that just the talent that Rocky Long brought in that Brady Hoke just had on the roster and was able to do it, you know? And since Brady Hoke has had to recruit, what has it looked like? I think that's what Brady Hoke haters would say. I don't know where I really stand. I think the change should have happened. I guess that's where I stand. A change should have happened. But I don't obviously never want to like say this guy should be fired. And I think change needed to happen. I don't want someone to lose their job. So I hope that, yes, it is a retirement. Like it's actually a retirement for Brady Hoke. He actually wanted to retire. But I'm not surprised by this. I was not thinking leading up to this, how can San Diego State get around this buyout? Maybe they could have Brady Hoke retire because I don't know if they still have to pay the money or again, like they're going to meet in the middle. But maybe let's ask Brady Hoke to retire so we don't have to deal with this. I wasn't even thinking about that. I don't know if that actually happened, but reading more in the statement here, Brady Hoke says, "I'm grateful to all the great student athletes I've had the chance to work with, molding them into men, husbands, fathers, and pillars in the community. I will always cherish my time leading this program. I'd also like to thank the wonderful staff I've worked with and wish them the best in the future. Brady Hoke, a 39-31 record across 6 seasons at the school. Obviously, there's 2 more games left. No bowl game. And when there's no bowl game, and I think it was like 13 consecutive years where they were bowl eligible and like things were good at San Diego State, right? Now it's like, okay, this is a big red flag. When you're going to have a losing season, you're not going to be bowl eligible. Things need to change. And there's already names that are coming out here um, from, I believe, Chris Vanini. I think he writes for The Athletic. And it's just about who could fill the job. And in The Athletic here, it says this will be a highly sought after job according to industry sources because of its location, resources, and facilities. Some names to watch include Washington, offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, Missouri OC Kirby Moore, UCLA defensive coordinator D'Anton Lynn, USC analyst Cliff Kingsbury, USC defensive backs coach Dante Williams, Oregon State OC Brian Lindgren, and Nebraska DC Tony White. Now, the big name, obviously, there is Cliff Kingsbury. And if Cliff Kingsbury got the job, and that would make San Diego State interesting. I think that's what a lot of fans want. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury would be a perfect guy for the job, but he has had a history of working with talented quarterbacks, right? And having some good offenses. And San Diego State needs to have better offense, right? They need to get a good quarterback in here, a better quarterback than what they have had here. Like that is just, it's just the truth. You know, they need the offense to be better. And if San Diego State is trying to get more people in that building, they're trying to get more attention on their program. Bringing in a big time guy will bring more attention to the program. And I think if you bring in Cliff Kingsbury, I think more players would want to play for the program than under someone like Brady Hoke. Maybe that's just me, but I think that's just what it is. I think that's what it would be. I think that's what the reality would be. Now, what would Cliff Kingsbury be asking for salary-wise? Can San Diego State do that? They're not Texas A&M. They're not Alabama. They're not Oklahoma. They're not USC, right? So that's the question for me is contract. Now, Cliff Kingsbury, he's pretty much set for life, I would think. I mean, the dude was a big-time coach in college. He was a head coach in the NFL. I mean, there's big salary there. I don't know if anyone saw his homes during the NFL draft, his home that they were showing. I think the dude's pretty set, right? I think he's fine. So I don't know how much he'd be asking for. Maybe he'd be okay. Maybe he would use this as like a platform job where he comes to state for a couple years, does well, and then another big time program wants him to become their head coach. Now, would San Diego State fans want that? You know, would they want someone that's just using San Diego State? But if you want the program to get back in the right direction, maybe that's what needs to happen. San Diego State could go with one of these other guys, though, as well. Someone coming from a big school, I think, is what I would hope Aztecs fans want. Someone that knows like what the standard should be, has experience working with great coaching staffs, great head coach, great players, relationships, recruiting, all of that. And I think that's what can put San Diego State in the right direction here. But yeah, no doubt for me, a change needed to be made. I don't like sitting here and saying this person should be fired. He needs to go, because if I was in that position, I would not like that for people to be calling for my job or anything like that. But as an Aztecs fan, change needed to be made. And hopefully this next hire will bring San Diego State back in the right direction towards the top of the Mountain West, where they have been. And before I end this video here, I do appreciate what Brady Hoke did here when he took over at San Diego State, because San Diego State was not in a good place. They get to the Poinsettia Bowl under him. He was there a couple years. Brady Hoke takes over, right? And then that really brought in, okay, Mountain West championships. Obviously, then later in the Rocky Long tenure, you got Rashad Penny, you got Donnell Humphrey. you've got talented guys, right? You've got NFL players coming in before they obviously got drafted and got put into the NFL. They got some good talent there. So he put San Diego State in the right direction. But he's going to leave with San Diego State going in the wrong direction. And that's why a change needed to be made. So obviously wishing Brady Hoke the best. Seems like a good guy. Have nothing against him personally, obviously. I don't think Aztecs fans have anything against him personally. I just think it's strictly about winning, and San Diego State fans were not happy. I don't think season ticket holders are happy. So change needs to be made. So we'll see who ends up being the next head coach of this team. Brady Hoke retiring at the end of the season, so he's got 2 more games. San Jose State, I believe, and Fresno State to close it out. We'll see what their record ends up being. 3-7 right now, the worst team in the Mountain West. And this, again, this is a program here. Remember all of the Pac-12 talk and going to a bigger conference, a Power 5 conference? Well, it's a pretty bad look where you open a stadium, disappointing season, and then you're in last place in the Mountain West. Like, if you want to have a bright future, you need to get out of the last place in the Mountain West.